It's the time of year when we think of helping our friends, neighbors, and strangers in need. The Food Bank of Iowa is one of the nonprofits doing the work year-round and helping more people than ever. Our own Erin Kiernan talks with the CEO, Michelle Book, about the growing need in her last few weeks on the job.
People from all over the food bank's 55-county region can talk about Michelle Book's values.
At her core, really, Michelle is a farm kid from Jefferson, Iowa. She's a hard worker. She's strong and determined.
And Book says she needed those skills because when she was offered the job, she was, quote, clueless about it and the need.
I was the president of the Pioneer Foundation, and we were distributing money. One of our causes was food insecurity. We were distributing money to food pantries and food banks everywhere but here. We did not know that the Food Bank of Iowa existed.
I feel like that is something that's very hard for anyone in our community to wrap their heads around, that people didn't know that the Food Bank of Iowa existed. That's one of the many things you've done, is raise the profile.
It's been important to do that, Erin. First, raising the profile for food insecurity in our community, and so many people did not know that. And building awareness of food insecurity and raising the profile of Food Bank of Iowa, you know, both boats floated together.
Michelle, showing her farming roots, rolled up her sleeves and went to work.
When I spent time with Book during the fall of 2021, she was more than 5 years into the job and had steered the food bank through the worst of the pandemic. She will never forget how it started.
We placed several large food orders. We didn't have the money to pay for it, but we placed those orders with faith that our supporters would come through and help us. And they did. The community came together, and that's one thing that I've learned from my 60-some years of being an Iowan. Iowans show up to help their neighbors in need.
More than 345,000 Iowans are food insecure. Right now in Iowa, 1 in 9 adults and 1 in 6 children are facing hunger.
So if we think about alleviating the stress in a household so a young person can go to school with food in their stomach and being rested and relaxed, we really need to alleviate food insecurity for the entire household and take the pressure cooker off for that child. So we started a food pantry program within our schools. We've committed to every school district across our 55 counties.
A lot of what I pick up from you during our conversations is that you want people to understand that this is a hand up, not a hand out.
37% of all households in Iowa, over 1/3 of every household in Iowa, doesn't have the income to cover basic needs. They're working, they're retired, they're disabled, but they just don't have the money at the end of the month to pay for the groceries.
You know, she has a very big heart and a very big personality.
Barbara Keano Decker saw the need double during her 6-year tenure as CEO of Catholic Charities and says Book was instrumental in meeting it.
Very much so. And, you know, first of all, I'd want to say her passion, her persistence. I can think of another just words to describe her, but we know that she's very committed and dedicated to the work at hand.
So to that end, talk a little bit about the Farm Bill and how much food comes to this entity from the USDA.
Yeah, the Farm Bill's a concern. Hopefully, as we go into 2025, they'll get this settled, but we rely on USDA commodity foods. At Food Bank of Iowa, in the last month, November, we distributed 2.5 million pounds of food to 700 partners across 30,000 square miles. 30% of that food comes to us from the USDA.
There's so many issues connected to this. We could talk for a long time. What do you want your legacy to be?
For me, it's always been about the people. So I hope at the end of the day, people remember me as somebody who cares about others, somebody who cares about their neighbor in need, and that they'll embrace what we've built here and that they choose to carry it forward.
Erin Kiernan, WHO 13 News.
And for what's next for her, Book says she plans to travel and may even take up pickleball.